Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli, amma ba'd. All praises be to Allah. We praise Him. We ask for His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the weakness of ourselves and from the badness of our deeds. Whoever been given by Allah guidance, then nobody can be a misguider for him. And whoever being misguided by Allah, and nobody can be a guider for him. I bear witness, there's no God worthy to worship except Allah. Only Him, no associate for Him. And I bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger and His prophet. He is His servant. O Allah, give good prayers upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Give good prayers upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Oh Allah, give blessing upon Muhammad, or bless Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Bless the family of Abraham and Abraham and the family of Abraham. Verily you are most worthy of praises and most noble. Today inshallah we will continue with our topic, that is 50 rules or quotes from the Quran relating to soul and life. Then we actually just have the first class before, and we talk about the introduction from the author, and then that our topic is actually originally being broadcast through the radio of Qur'an Al-Karim in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So after that being transcribed into books and being distributed as a book, even though it's originally a series inside the radio program. So today inshallah we will continue, and we will enter inshallah not into the rules or the quotes from the Quran, but actually we go into to understand the meaning of Quranic rules or Quranic foundation or quotes, so that we understand that what we are actually learning really relate to the Quran, and actually also will go into our life topics inshallah. So page 9, inshallah we'll recite the Arabic, and after that we'll translate it to you, all of you. Tamhid, preparation. He said here, yuhsinu qabla dukhuli fi ila ma tayassara i'daduhu min qawā'idah an ubayyina hadhihi al-qawā'idi wa muradi biha. Is it good before we enter into what being compiled briefly from the rulings, the rules and the quotes of the Quran, that the author said, want to explain the boundary of these rules. Means that when you want to learn something, you have to know what you are learning. So he want to put a clear boundaries, so that you will not think about other than what the topic we are talking about. And what I meant by it, فَأَقُولُ تَضْمَنُ الْعُنْوَانُ كَلِمَتَيْنِ Qawā'idu wa Qur'aniyyatu. So I said that our topic is actually comprehend from two words, Qawā'idu and Qur'aniyyatu. Qawā'idu, so we start from the word Qawā'id. So فَأَمَّا الْقَوَاعِدُ فَهِيَ جَمْعُ قَاعِدَةٍ. The word Qawā'id is actually is plural for the word Qā'idah. The word Qā'idah in Arabic, wa asluha lughawi ya'udu ila madati qa'ada, and its origin or source from linguistic source is actually returned to the word Qā'idah. Qā'idah, Qaf, Ain and Dal. Wahiyah kama yaqul Ibn Faris, and it is as being said by Ibn Faris. Ibn Faris is actually one of the author of Arabic dictionaries. When you want to know the word, you have to return to the what being said by the people. So this word is actually Arabic. So we have to look into Arabic dictionaries. So Ibn Faris, his book is Mu'jam Maqayis lil-Lughah. Mu'jam Maqayis lil-Lughah. So he said here, explaining the word Qā'idah, he said, Aslun muttaridun munqasun la yukhlafu. The word Qā'idah is actually an origin unchangeable and also measurable origin. Means that the word Qā'idah is known like that. It doesn't have any interchangeable like some of the words in Arabic. It being mentioned or being uttered by a form, but the origin of the word is not like that. Such as qala. Qala in Arabic is actually not originally qala. It's actually from qawala, because the waw in the middle being changed to alif, because it is hard for the Arabic people to mention, to utter the word qawala. Qawala yaqulu. So they change it to qala yaqulu. But the Qā'idah is actually, the origin is actually unchangeable and munqas. Munqas means that you can surely make it very change it from that one source to another, exactly like the other verb that is in Arabic. You have a common form to know when it's changed from a person to second person, third person. So the changes is actually immeasurable. It's called measurable. La yukhlaf mean undisputed, means that it's actually agreed upon. Wa huwa yudahi al-julus. And the word Qā'idah is actually similar, one of in some of its part, to the meaning of julus, means that sit, to sit. Because when you say ja'a ar-rajulu fajalasa, the guy came, then he sat. Or the guy is actually sleeping, then he sat. The word Qā'idah means sitting, the same meaning like that. And also wa in kana yutakallamu fi mawadi'a la yutakallamu fiha bil julus. But even though that the word Qā'idah is being uttered in places, in some places, that the word julus is not being said. Wa qawa'idul baiti asasuhu. And when you say qawa'idu al-bait, means that qawa'id al-bait, not sitting of the bait, but say qawa'id al-bait, meaning its foundation, the foundation of the house. Okay. Faka'anna qawa'id al-baiti fi sufuliha tukhalifu awaliha. Is as if that the qawa'id al-bait, mean the foundation or the base of the house, in its lowness, its place is low, actually is against the upper part of the house. Is that if you have a house, the house have the base, the roof, the wall, but the word qawa'id al-bait will always mention being uttered to the base of the house, means the low part of the house, not the top part. Even though all of it is actually from the house, but the base is actually being called qawa'id, or the foundation of the house. Walihada yuqalu al-qa'idu wal-qa'idatu aslul ussi. Because of this, this being mentioned, al-qa'idu, the word al-qa'id, or al-qa'idatu, aslul ussi, mean or the source of the base, the source of the origin. Wa fi tanzil, in the revelation, mean in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala said about the word usage of word al-Qawā'id in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 127. Wa idh yarfa'u Ibrahimul qawa'ida minal baiti wa Ismailu. And remember when Abraham lift up or build up al-qawa'ida, the foundation, minal baiti, from the house, means the Kaabah, wa Ismailu, and with him his son Ismail. So the foundation of the Kaabah. And also in Surah Al-Nahl, verse number 26, فَأَتَى اللَّهُ بُنْيَانَهُمْ مِنَ الْقَوَاعِدِ, means that it's actually talking about some people that feel safe from the wrath of Allah, the anger of Allah. So they didn't even thought about that Allah Ta'ala will punish them and by destroying their house. So he said here, فَأَتَى اللَّهُ بُنْيَانَهُمْ مِنَ الْقَوَاعِدِ, then Allah came to their buildings from its foundation, make it crumble from its foundation. قال الزجاج, الزجاج is one of the a scholar of linguistic. He said al-qawaidu, qawaid, the foundation or the base, asatinul bina, mean the base of the building, allati ta'miduhu, that the building is actually rely on it, mean the base. Normally if you want to build a big building, you have to have a base there. You cannot just build a building without base, because the whole building will crumble and fall down. Wa ala hadha faqa'itul babi aslul ladhi tubtana tanbani alayhi masailuhu wa furu'uhu. Because of this, when we say qa'idatul bait, qa'idatul bab, the foundation of a chapter, is actually it is actually the origin or the source that being built on it its problems or its questions and its branches. Is that the chapter, from the chapter you have the appendix and everything that inside the chapter. So the chapter itself is called Qa'idatul Bab. Qa'idatul Bab mean the base of the origin of the chapter. Amma ta'riful qa'idati istilahan, but the definition of qa'idah by usage or what you say being used in understanding of knowledge, the word is actually istilahan, not linguistic, but by usage. Fahuwa qadiyatun kulliyatun muntabiqatun ala juz'iyatiha. It is a universal preposition that is actually applied upon its compartments. Mean that when we say this, under it everything that related to it will go under that things. It's called as qa'idah. Qa'idāh by usage. Faqawluhu, so the author tried to explain the definition. He said faqawluhum, and they are saying qadiyatun kulliyatun, universal preposition, ay yadkhulu tahtaha jami'u ajza'iha, that is actually will enter inserted under it every compartment of it, every unit of it is actually under it. La yushaddu min dhalika shay, and will not odd from that anything. Everything will go in there. It will go into that qa'idah, that universal or general preposition, general rulings. We use the second terms, rulings, general rulings, that under it everything from its units is actually under it. Wa hadzal wasfu daqiqun, this description is actually so fine. Mutaridun fi haqqil qawa'idi, unchangeable for the right of al-Qawā'id al-Qur'aniyyah, the rulings or the rules of or the quotes or the base of Al-Quran, allati ta'tamidu al-ayatul karimah, that is actually rely to the ayat al-karimah, the noble ayah from the Quran. Because when we say these rulings, we took it from the Quran, then it's actually it should not be something that is actually odd from many things. Must be something that actually will comprehend everything, every part of it. Aw juz'an minha fi isbatiha. That is actually this Qā'idah, this ruling, will actually will rely on the ayatul karimah or part of the ayah to prove it, to prove that the Qā'idah is there. لأنها تعتمد على النص القرآني, because these rules or this foundation or these words will be actually relying on the nas of the Quran, the text of the Quran. And it is actually فَهُوَ كَلَامُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, and it is the words of Allah Ta'ala, الَّذِي, that لَا يَأْتِهِ الْبَاطِلُ, never ever come any wrongness or any faultness, مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَلَا مِنْ خَلْفِهِ, from its beginning nor its end. تَنْزِيلُ مِنْ حَكِيمٍ حَمِيدٍ, it is being revealed down, sent down to Muhammad from the most wise and the most worthy of praises. It's actually being mentioned in Surah Al-Fussilat, verse number 42. So that is actually what being called as Qā'idah, or the rules or the base that we want to talk about it in the Quran. But at the same time, we have to know that in some of the knowledge of Islam, there are usage of the word Qā'idah, such as in the knowledge of tafsir or the knowledge of jurisprudence or fiqh. There is the usage of Qā'idah. For he said here, amma binisbati lil qawa'id allati yasughuha ulama al-usul. But actually from the side of Qā'idah that being formed, being made by the scholars of usul, or ulama al-tafsir, or the scholars of tafsir. Fahadil kulliyati qad tantaqidu fi ba'di suwariha. But this wholeness in that area, in that knowledge, in the jurisprudence or in explanation of the Quran, sometimes actually is being rejected in some of its form. Fahiya idzan nisbiyah. So if you want to say about the Qā'idah in fiqh or the Qā'idah in tafsir, it's actually nisbiyah. It's not wholesomeness, not interchangeable, but it can be exception in some of it. But actually, wala yulzamu fi hadhil qawa'idi, but it's not actually being something that being obligated on those rulings or those rules that being put down by the scholars of fiqh or scholars of tafsir, that we have to min dhalika ta'dilu siyaghati, that we have to change the definition being put down by the scholars, liyuqal, so that we'll say bi anna al-qawa'ida hukmul aghlabi, that qawa'id that in that area is actually hukm aghlabi. It's actually the rulings of most, not the whole, but most of it. Some of it you can say that it's actually not really applied on it. You should not change that word Qā'idah to the word qadiyatun kulliyah. You change it to the word hukmun aghlabi. You should not do something like that. Liwujudi istisna'ati fi ba'dil qawa'idi, because there is actually exception in some of the Qā'idah, for some of the Qawā'id, the rules of the foundation. Kalla, never ever. لأن هذه الاستثناءات لا تخرق القاعدة, because these exceptions is actually would not deny, would not struck upon the Qā'idah. فالعبرة بالأغلب, because we actually look into the most of it, because commonly it's like that. So you will not change that the general or universal preposition or rulings, you should not change it just because there's an exception. Kama yaqulul Kafawi, one of the scholars of the jurisprudence, origin of jurisprudence, he said, wa tukhlaful asla fi mawdi'in aw mawdi'aini la yunafi asalatuhu. Being refuted, the origin or the base being refuted in one place or two place will not deny its originness. It will not deny its source or its origin, because just one or two. It's something like in our life right now. If you look around, when you go into the street and you look at the traffic lights, the color will be red to stop, yellow ready to stop, and green to go. Even though among human beings, there are people who actually have color blindness, but never ever you change that rulings just because there are certain people that cannot see red is red. They see red is orange, I think. Some of my relative and my wife relative have that color blindness. So you should not tell them to paint the house. If they paint the house, then the color after that you will be actually disappointed with the color they choose. The color they choose actually really doesn't fit whatever you think about the color. Beauty in color will lost in them because they cannot see all the color the same. Even though we know that when you want to take your exam to pass your vehicle permit, to the driving permit, you have to take that one of the tests is actually you have to look at dots. There is number inside there. If you have the color blindness, you cannot see the number 23, 37, everything. But the problem is some of the driving schools, they teach their student, if you see this color and this color, the number is this. So the student actually doesn't see the color, the numbers, but they will remember what the teacher said about. If you see this color and this color, the number is this. So just by memorization, but really actually exactly the person is actually in reality doesn't see the numbers. So anyway, but the rulings that we have about the color for us to stop at traffic light will be universal. You go anywhere in the world, you'll put there red, yellow, green. Even though we know that there are people there, they have color blindness. That is the rulings, the general rules for everybody. Red is for stop. You don't say that red is for people who actually have good eyesight, red. But the people doesn't have good eyesight, orange. Orange is for you to stop. You don't ever put that rulings like that, even though the exception is there. And that is why even though what we learn in tafsir or in linguistics also, there are things that actually being exception, but the ruling is still there. Like we say, whenever there's the harf of jar in front of the names, the noun, the noun, not pronoun, you have to make the noun to become kasrah or khafat. Like you say, ala Muhammadin, zahabtu ilal bayti. So all the noun will become under, but there are exception there. When you say if the word such as name of woman, if you put it after huruf jar, after the harf of jar, then the name will be given upper vowel sign. Means that an Aishata, you don't say an Aishati, you say an Aliyin, an Muhammadin, an Zaidin, but you didn't say an Fatimati. That is exception. But general rulings, you say that when harf jar is in front of the a noun, then the noun must be given lower vowel sign or kasrah. So the exception will not change the rules, the general rulings. Okay, he said here, wa qawluhum, and they are saying, muntabiqatun ala juz'iyatiha, that these general rulings, general preposition, muntabiqatun ala juz'iyatiha, it is actually applied upon its compartments, its all its units. لأن هذه هي حقيقة القاعدة, because this is the reality of the Qā'idah, the foundation or the base or the rules. فهي الأساس والأصل لما فوقها, because it is actually a base, it is a base or the source or the origin for whatever on top of it, because you put that base and on it you put everything else there. وهي تجمع فروعا من أبواب شتى, so it is actually combining branches from chapters, many chapters, variable chapters. So that is the base. You say base, so that's what we are try to understand from the word Qā'idah or Qawā'id, the plurals. A second words that we use in our topic is actually Al-Qur'aniyyah. Al-Qur'aniyyah. Wa amal Qur'aniyyah tu means that Quranic origin. See the word Qur'aniyyah because it is actually source from the Quran, so that's why we call Qur'aniyyah. Fanisbatun ilal Quran, because it's actually being related to the Quran. Wahwa, and the word Quran fi lughatan, in linguistic meaning is actually ma'khudhu min qara'a, is actually being taken out from the word qara'a. The word Quran is from qara'a, mean read or recite, and the origin of the word qara'a wa asluha min qari'a kama yaqulu Ibn Faris, as being said by Ibn Faris. I said qariya, the word is actually qariya. Qara'a, the origin is actually qariya, because we say the hardness to utter it in the tongue of the Arabs, so they change it from the qariya to the qara'a, as being said by Ibn Faris. Alladhi, that the word qara'a yadullu ala jam'in wa ijtima'in, is actually giving the meaning upon gathering or combining, gather or combine, before the usage of read, because when you read, it's actually you combine letter and words in your mouth. Means that we say Ali came to school. Ali came to school. It's actually you combining the letter and the words into a sentence. That's what the origin of qara'a, the original meaning. Even though we say recite or read, even though the origin is actually to gather or to combine. Wa minhu, from the word qara'a, al-Qur'anu, the Quran, and ka'annahu summiya bidhalika, and as if the Quran being called as Quran li jam'ihi ma fihi min al-ahkam, because what is combined in it from rulings, wal qisas, and also stories, wa ghairi dhalika, and everything else, because the Quran is actually comprehend from that thing. The rulings is there, the story is there, the command of Allah Ta'ala is there, everything is there. So that's why the Quran is called Quran. Quran is called the Quran because of that. Wallahu a'lam. Wa aqrabu ma qila fi ta'rifihi istilahan, and the nearest what being said about its definition from the usage, the word Quran means kalamullahi ta'ala haqiqatan, is actually the words of Allah haqiqatan, really, not actually like being said by some people, it's not really the words of Al-Quran, our words of Allah. It's actually being said as words, but that is actually just as metaphor. But here we want to say that it is actually really the words of Allah, because Allah really do saying talking and talking to his creation, like what will happen in the last day, what happened, and also like what happened in the paradise between Allah and Iblis, and Allah and Adam, and also between Allah and Moses, and also the talking of Allah, Allah speak to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the night of Mi'raj. So everything is actually, we as Ahli Sunnah, that who actually, page number 10, last paragraph, last word. So actually kalamullah hakikatan. So Quran is actually the words of Allah hakikatan, really the words of Allah, not metaphorically, but really the words of Allah. If you want to say by letter and sound, because some people say that Allah Ta'ala speak without letter, without the sound, without letter, without the sound, because they said if Allah Ta'ala is saying or speaking with letters and sound, then he is actually not Allah, because Allah will always be opposite of his creature. But at the same time, we know that Allah Ta'ala have attributes like hearing. You hearing, Allah hearing, everything is hearing. But the hearing of Allah, you cannot ever say that Allah Ta'ala is not hearing. He is hearing whatever you say or you utter, what you whisper. So he is hearing everything. You are hearing, but not as the hearing of Allah. Same can be said that as speaking. Allah Ta'ala, when you speak, Allah Ta'ala also speak. But the speaking of Allah is not the same as the speaking of the human or the creatures. That is the way you want to understand. But never ever change the word kalamullah to the words of the metaphorically, not really the words of Allah. Not exactly the words of Allah. Don't say something like that, because that is the words from people who are actually following the philosophy or the logic by Aristotle. So they actually imposing upon Islam something is not from Islam. So that's why they start to say Allah Ta'ala is not talking, because if he talk, then he doesn't talk yesterday, he talk today. Then the thing that he do is actually new things, and whenever he do new things, then he is actually new, and he's actually not God. That is actually not a logic must be inserted into Islam. Okay. Al-munazzalu ala Muhammadin, that the words is actually being sent down to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also al-muta'abbadu bi tilawatihi, and also being considered as an ibadah or act of worship in reciting it. This is actually what will differ the Quran from anything else. Because anything else you read, the reading, recitation itself doesn't make it as ibadah. But the Quran, every letter that you utter from the Quran is considered as ibadah. And even the Prophet ﷺ said that every letter of the Quran that you utter, when you recite the Quran, you will be given 10 rewards from Allah. And the rewards being said by the Prophet ﷺ, that it is the bigness of that reward is like from here, the earth to the heaven, to the sky. That the bigness, not like the mountain only. Like some of the rewards from Allah is being comparable to the mountain, like mountain of Uhud, when the Prophet ﷺ urged us to attend the preparation of the deceased. Like we wait for the deceased died people among us to be washed, to be enfold inside the shrub, and also to be sent to be prayed upon, and to be sent to the grave, and to wait until the soil being put onto the grave. All of it actually have rewards from Allah comparable to the Uhud, to the mount of Uhud. Because Ibn Umar asked Abu Hurairah anhu, when the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever attend the deceased until being prayed, he got 1 qirat. He follow the deceased to the grave, he got 2nd qirat, and he wait for the deceased until being put the soil on top of the grave, he get 3 qirat. And when Ibn Umar asked Abu Hurairah, what is the meaning of qirat? So Abu Hurairah said that the Prophet said it is actually as the big as a mountain of Uhud. So Ibn Umar after that said, how many of qirat that we have left, because you don't attend the deceased. Same like this, the recitation for the Qur'an. The Prophet ﷺ compared the bigness or the greatness of the reward whoever utter even a letter of the Qur'an. And the Prophet said, I don't say alif lam mim 1 letter, but I said alif 1 letter, lam 1 letter, mim 1 letter. So every letter of the Quran you recite, you get the reward. It's not same as the hadith. Even so, you recite or read the hadith, the reading of the hadith itself only doesn't have any meaning, for you until you practice or you do whatever being told to you by the hadith. Same as you learning the tafsir, same of learning the fiqh. You read the book only is not considered as ibadah, but you do whatever being told there. You want to actually practice it, then the ibadah become from that point. So he said, ya wa amma isti'malu hadha al-lafza, isti'mal hadha al-lafzi, amma isti'malu hadha al-lafzi ay Qur'aniyyah, but the usage of the words Qur'aniyyah mean Quranic. If you translate it in English, you can say Quranic. Is that something related to the Quran? Fa innani lam aqif ala istimali hadhihi nisbati ay Qur'aniyyah fi kutubil mutaqaddimin. The author said, I didn't found the usage of this word Quranic or the word Qur'aniyyah in the book of whoever the early authors of the Islam, from min a'immatil lughati, from the leaders of the linguistic in Arabic. Wa inna ma wajadtuha 'inda ba'dil mutaakhirin. I only found the word Qur'aniyyah, the usage of Qur'aniyyah or Quranic in some of the writing of the latest author. Kama fi Tajul Arus li Zabidi, as being said being used in Tajul Arus. Tajul Arus is actually one of the dictionaries of Arabic. It seems like the Ibn Faris, Mu'jam Maqais Lughah, Ibn Manzur al-Afriqi, he have the Lisan Arab, which is quite big volume, and before all of them is actually Sihah by an author named Al-Jawhari. So this is the Arabic dictionary, not Arabic English, not Arabic Malay, but Arabic. Okay. So in Tajul Arus Az-Zabidi, that died in 1205 of Hijrah, he died at that time. And also wa fi kulliyat Abil Baqa al-Kafui, and also being mentioned by in the kulliyat by Abul Baqa al-Kafui, that died in year 1994 of Hijrah. You want to know how in our time, is actually you have to skip about around 500. So means that 1200 means that you deduce from it 500, because the time of Prophet around 510, so you get around 700 the year of you add up years 1000 you have to add up 1200 become 1500 1700, then 70th century or 18th century and Abu Bakr al-Kafui is actually around 1500, or actually 15th century at the time of Hang Tuah, because the in our time 1511 is actually the time when we have the Sultanate of Malacca at the time. So this guy died at the time of Sultanate of Malacca. The other one is actually 17th century, is around the French Revolution, Renaissance. Around that time, Az-Zabidi died. So if you want to compare, because in our book normally the year will be used as actually Hijri, according to the hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. Amma wurudu hadhihi nisbati fi kutubil mufassirin min al-qarni as-sadisi wa sabi'i fa kathir. But dia kata, he say here that the usage or the coming of the appearance of this saying the word Quranic or Qur'aniyyah in the book of the book of explainer of the Quran, Mufassir of the Quran, from the 6th century of Hijrah and 7th century of Hijrah is actually many, is actually abundant. Wa min aqdami man waqaftu ala isti'malihi laha ar-Razi, from among those who actually early in usage of the word Quranic or Qur'aniyyah is as Ar-Razi, Fakhruddin Ar-Razi, that died 606 of Hijrah. 606 of Hijrah. And in his tafsirihi, in his explanation of Al-Quran, named Mafatihul Ghaib. Mafatihul Ghaib, that is the name of the book. Wa Al-Hayyan Al-Andalusi, that died during 745 Hijrah, in his book Al-Bahrul Muhit, also the explanation of the Quran. Wa amma wuruduhu fi kalami ghairi mufassirin min al-mutaakhirin fa kathirun jidda. But the usage of the appearance of this word Quranic or Qur'aniyyah in the words of other than the explainer of the Quran, the mufassirin min al-mutaakhirin, from among people that is actually latest people during our time or before our time a little. Fa kathirun jidda is actually most abundant, really abundant. Walaysa hadha mimma ya'nina hahuna, but this is actually not something that important for us here. Wa bina'an ala ma taqaddama, based on whatever we mentioned before, means that when we learn about the word al-Qawā'id and the word Qur'aniyyah, okay, fayumkinul khulusu ila ta'rif, then we can go into we can finalize to the definition of al-Qawā'id al-Qur'aniyyah, the Quranic rules, that bi'atibarihi laqaban ala mastalaha alaihi haditha, by looking into that it is actually as a title on what being usage upon it newly, bihadil jumlah, with this terms Qawā'id Qur'aniyyah, fayuqalu fi ta'rifiha, then we said in its definition here, Qawā'id Qur'aniyyah, that we have to learn, I want to learn it, is actually ahkamun kulliyatun qat'iyyatun mustakhrajatun min nususil Qur'aniyyah. General rulings, or wholesome rulings, that is actually qat'iyyah, means that actually undeniable, mustakhrajatun, that being derived min nususil Quran, from the text of Al-Quran. General rulings that is undeniable, that being derived from the text of Al-Quran. Litawdihi hadha ta'rif, so to explain this definition, yuqalu, we will say, qauluna ahkamun kulliyatun, general rulings or universal rulings, faqad sabaqa al-bahsu fiha qariba, then essentially we already mentioned about it, because it is the same meaning as qadiyah kulliyah, when we say about Qā'idah Qā'idah, that qadiyah kulliyah muntabiqatun ala ajza'iha, that general or universal preposition that is actually applied upon all its compartments or its units. That is actually the word ahkam kulliyah, the same meaning like that. So the wholesome rules or the general rules, like being said before. Wa qawluna qat'iyyatun, and the undeniable means that assured. Ay anna hukmaha maqtu'un bihi, that its rulings is actually being agreed upon, means that being not being denied, cannot be denied. Fala yatatarraqu ilaihi dhann, then it actually never ever come to any doubt. Fi asli buniyatiha, from its or source of origin, source of its buildings, because we build it from the ayah of Al-Quran and from the part of the ayah of the Quran. So the source is undeniable, because Quran is actually, you cannot say that I don't believe in the Quran. That is the thing from the start. لأنها مأخوذة من كلام الله تعالى, because these rulings being taken out from the words of Allah Ta'ala. فهو حق متيقن, and there is actually a truth that is actually really being believed upon. Mutayaqinun, assured. Wa innama yatataraqu adh-dhannu fima yudkhiluhu muta'ammilu fi min afradi tilka al-qa'idati, but only the doubt or the unsure feeling will come into whatever being insert by whoever look into the units of this Qā'idah, of these rulings. Means that if you want to look in all the unit, then maybe there is something that you may wrongly or you may have doubt about, to put something inside there, inside that rulings. That is the choice that you would do. But the rulings itself, because it's from the Quran, then it's actually undeniable, undisputable. You must accept it. Must be accepted. Okay? Kama anna lizzanni majalan fi ma yata'allaqu bi tasnifil qawa'idi ila kubra wa sughra. Yes, being actually it is same that doubt is actually have parts, have it place on something, on anything that actually related in doing, in combining, like being forming the Qawā'id by, like the explanator of the Quran in Qā'idah Usul Tafsir, or in the Qā'idah of Usul Fiqh, Qā'idah to Fiqh. Then there is actually, when they want to form the Qā'idah, they have the doubt there. There's something to rethink about it. Ilal kubra wa sughra, to big and the small. Big Qā'idah, small Qā'idah. Big rulings, small rulings. There's actually things that will happen actually when you form it from your own words. But these rulings that we actually want to talk about is actually from the Quran. Wa qawluna, and our saying, mustakhrajatun min nususil Quran, that being derived from the text of Al-Quran, the words, the verses of Al-Quran. Wa fi hadha isyaratun ila madati hadhihi al-qawa'idi. In this, there is actually a hint to the source, or to the element of these rulings, of these quotes. Fahiya ma'khudatun min al-ayatil Qur'aniyyati. It is taken out from the ayats of Al-Quran. Walaysat ka qawa'idil mufassirin wal awil usuliyin. It is not as the rulings, or the base foundation being put down by the explanator of Al-Quran, or the jurisprudence scholars. Allati yajtahidul ulama'u, that the scholars actually try their best fi siyaghatiha, in forming its its form. Wa tahrir alfaziha, and or to choose out the words that is actually can we say that acceptable or could be for that Qā'idah. From among the Qā'idah, when we say that the rulings from the jurisprudence or something, when we can use something being said in Qawā'id al-fiqh or Qawā'id usul-fiqh or Qawā'id al-tafsir, al-ibratu bi umul lafzi laysa bi khususi sabab. He said that they said that when they form the when to understand the Quran or the hadith, they said that what being considered is actually the generalness of the words, not its reason of revelation, or the reason, the specific reason why the Quran or the Sunnah came. This actually because in the Quran, when you look about what Allah Ta'ala told us to do in the Quran, originally that saying being sent down to the companion of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the companion of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, being said to the companion at that time. But because the usage of words like Ya ayyuhalladina amanu, or people who already believe, so whoever is actually believers, they will go into that ayah, that command. You cannot say that this ayah revealed to them, not to me, because the general usage of the rulings is actually al-ibratu, what being considered is actually umum bi umum lafzi, by the generalness of the words. Laisa bi khusus sabab, not because of the specific reason. The specific reason why the ayah sent down is not for you to argue about it. But what you must do is actually what being told to you, like being told to the Sahabah, to the companion of Prophet SAW. That is a type of rulings that we can understand. The words being combined, being formed by the scholars to make it the wholeness, the rulings will come unto the hadith and the Quran when you want to understand it. That is by what we are learning, inshallah, is actually the opposite, because all the words, all the phrases that we will learn is actually from the Quran, not from whatever we combine it by ourselves. For that, it actually that is the source of our topic, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, we finish it, our topic for today. Like always, we can look into the question if there's any question. And really, we apologize for the inconvenience of late of our start, because there are things actually related to the technical problem, because our hall today they are fixing something there, so we cannot use our hall that we use every in our classes before. So all the equipment there is actually ready to be used at all time. But here in this brothers hub, we actually using our laptop, and sometimes the signal is not really good. So because of that, we have that technical problem. We late at starting our class, almost half an hour. So we apologize for about that. Inshallah, we make sure that in the future we will be prepared better, inshallah. So we look into question. Wallahi alhamd, there's no question. So inshallah we'll end our class today. Then, and inshallah next week we'll go into the first rulings, the first rulings or the first quotes from the Quran that concerning our soul and our life. Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa sallam, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhanallah, anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.